Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another week, another edition of the show. This week I have Kevin from the awesome band Modern Culture. Not only do I love their music, but I had the guilty pleasure of having them play our store and watch them just crush it. And now I got Kevin here to talk more about the band and have some fun tonight. So welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's our absolute pleasure. So why don't we start with, I guess, like a quick Cliff's notes of how modern culture became a thing, a band.
Yeah, sure. So, our drummer and I go back to high school together. We've been in like every musical project together. Um, and after our last band had sort of broken up, we kind of wanted to keep going, but with everything that happened with the pandemic, it gave us like a lot of time to sort of figure out what we really wanted to do. Um, and the hardest thing really was trying to find an actual full band to bring it to life and to actually play live. So we had been recording, and we're like strictly a studio project for the first 2 years. And then we met our bassist, Brad, who we've just known through like years of playing shows. Um, our friend Johnny, I met him through a mutual friend at a Phillies game, and we were really looking for a guitarist because it was just a three piece at that point, and it was hell trying to find a guitarist. So I just like last ditch effort threw up if anybody wants to jam on Instagram, please reply to this message. And he replied. He came through. He was just like, it was like a musical, like just like instant match. So he joined, and then we rounded out the lineup with Alex, who um, sort of is to Brad what Brandon is to me, where they've just been in so many musical projects together since going back to high school. So that's sort of how we ended up where we're at now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I also love the just throwing things up on Instagram and seeing if someone bites because it's kind of worked out
Yeah.
based upon the live show that I saw and the music that I get to listen to. So how do you feel about where you guys are at currently in creating music?
I, I mean, I feel great. It's been kind of a scary challenge because, like I said, I almost hate talking about it at this point because it feels like every artist talks about it. But the pandemic just sort of created like a lot of unique, um, challenges for a lot of people. For us, it was really just because we weren't an active band yet. Um, it sort of just changed the writing process for me personally, um, and a lot of it was just me writing by myself and sending fully fleshed out ideas that I had, an endless amount of time to work on and perfect. And so the scariest thing, sort of bringing in all of these people, is adding all of those moving parts and trying to, I guess, capture the same essence and sort of like magic of those songs that are on our first EP and the singles we released before that. It was just a scary idea of it, like maybe not working because it's very easy for it not to. But the more time we've spent writing with each other, the more it's been an incredible like experience so far. So in terms of where we're at right now, I don't know. We're just really taking our time exploring new sounds, introducing everybody's influence, which has been really fun because before it was just one or two guys writing a song, and now it's five people who have a lot of different influences putting their touches on songs, and it's been really exciting and it's been really fun, and we just I don't know, just love where it's at right now.
Now, you brought up like the sound you guys are creating, and that leads to my next question is, in the world of playlists and genre labels, I mean, where would you kind of, for someone who's never heard you, if you had to fall into a playlist or a genre label, what would you essentially call yourself?
So yeah, it's I always tell people, I just give like the grunge gaze answer, it's a little bit like I feel like grunge gaze is becoming a little bit like alt rockish, where everybody is grunge gaze right now. But yeah, I feel like that's the easiest way. I just tell them grunge gaze. It's like a '90s inspired alternative rock is usually the way I'll put it. If I just like want to get the point across as quick as possible.
All right. Yeah. I mean, like 4 years ago, everybody was just like saying to me, like, it was only two things. It was indie rock or alternative. And I'm like, well, I mean, what are we talking about here? Like,
It is crazy. Like, yeah, because I know a lot of people because I used to do the alt rock thing, and like for some reason everybody's go to was always like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like that's their gauge of alt rock, and uh,
I mean, that's the worst gauge of all time. I'm sorry because I fucking hate the Chili Peppers. So
they got one good song. They got yeah, other side's all right. Uh, yeah, I'm not a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan either, and we definitely don't sound like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
no, no,
So
furthest thing from, because if you did, you and I would not be talking, and you would not have performed at the store. So
yeah, well, glad glad we have that in common then.
yeah. One of the greatest things I ever saw, it was an Instagram thing, and it was like, hey, pick 4 random artists and create the worst band of all time. And someone literally just put Chad Smith, Flea, John
Oh
Frusciante,
man,
Anthony Kiedis.
man,
I was like, I was fucking dying. I was like, that's hysterical.
brutal.
All right, let's. I want to find out a little bit about you, your life, and how music has kind of shaped you to where you are today. So I go back to these like kind of important moments in your life when it comes to music, and for me, it was being a small child and having music being played. And I remember the first artist as a kid that I heard that made me want to explore more and want to hear more music. You know, telling my mom play it again, even though she couldn't because it was on the radio, but like when you were growing up as a kid, do you kind of remember a time where like you were growing up and there was music on and it was like you really wanted to, as a child, learn more about what was going on or hear it again?
Yeah, I mean, I had like a lot of different like discovery moments with music. I mean, when I was first, like the first memories was, it was like honestly the boy band boom of the like late '90s and 2000s because I just had like a lot of cousins who were into that.
Big O Town fan you were?
I don't know. I was actually a big NSYNC guy. That was my
No,
first concert. My
I was
first
throwing out the last boy band of that.
O Town. Yeah, I couldn't even name an O Town song to be honest with you.
No one can. Even O Town can't name a song.
That's true. Um, so I mean, that was like my first like, oh, this is a cool thing. I mean, it's not that cool, but when you're 5 and you see how excited people get over like music, it's a cool thing. But my mom was always a really big she was real big into the alternative '80s scene, and I mean, she's actually like a big U2 fan, which they get a ton of hate, but I'm a U2 apologist. Um, I loved them. She helped me discover like a lot of new alternative bands, or newer at the time, I guess in like the 2000s. Like she was the person who like put me onto like Linkin Park when I was like 8 or 9. Um, and I just remember hearing like Linkin Park and just I don't know, just like the aggression and the heaviness and just like the mashing of the genres at that point in just such a what was to me an interesting way was something that just stuck with me, and I mean even has until this day. Like that was really my first time where I heard something and I was just like, this is so sick. um but yeah, there's been so many moments over the years, but that was like the first one for
Yeah.
sure.
It's always hard for me being, I mean, we've met in person, so I'm older. So
Yeah.
when I hear someone's parents like, you know, breaching them into like Linkin Park. I mean, I grew up with my dad fucking giving me Gordon Lightfoot and Bob Seger and my mom giving me doo-wop. So it's always like I sit back here and I smile. I'm like, and then I think I'm like, wow, I am fucking old. Like, but
Yeah, I mean, well, how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
I'm broaching 50 right now.
50. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, different. I mean, my mom definitely put because she was born in '61, so I mean, she put me onto like a lot of like she loved like the Beatles. But that was like our big thing back in the day was like she was really into early Beatles. I was into later Beatles, and that was like our argument that we would have every time we ever listened to the Beatles was which album we were going to put on in the car.
Yeah, you liked the weird off the wall stuff where they were experimenting, and she liked the simplistic power pop vibes. And,
Yeah,
I get that. I
yeah.
mean, I understand. There are like two sections of Beatles fans, right? There is
Mhm.
that the earlies, the ones that stick through the whole thing. It's like, not many people really fucking, vibe with the whole thing if you were in from when you first heard Help Me.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was
And
the first time we went to see Rain, which is like a tribute band for the Beatles. I didn't know that they had a weird drugged out era. So when they first started playing it, I was like, what is this? And she's like, oh yeah, they just got into drugs. It gets weird. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like this is so sick.
yeah, and it's always like, and I always like point this out, but to me, to think about and to explain to people, like when you think about the Beatles, like you just think this band has been around forever, right? And it's like they were only a band for like 7.5, 8 years in total.
Yeah.
And they did all that shit. And it's like crazy to think about that. Like at the end of the day, it's like, wow. And like how much shit changed for them
Yeah.
in such that short period of time.
Yeah. It's insane.
Now, for yourself, when you start to get, and your mom's showing you Lincoln Park, and
Hmm.
you get to start finding your own stuff, when, you talked about you had several like musical awakenings, and I think a lot of us had. So when was it like when you started to kind of find your own stuff as like a teenager, usually around that time when you start finding your own things that you're vibing with?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, uh, I there are two albums. The first two albums I bought with my own money were Hot Fuss by the Killers and American Idiot by Green Day, and I mean they both were just albums that like as like a teenager living in suburbia just spoke to me. I mean the Hot Fuss isn't particularly about that subject, where American Idiot just is like that's what the album is about. Um,
Yeah, but they're still both perfect albums.
they are. They're so good. They're so good. And Hot Fuss, Smile Like You Mean It is one like I listen to like to this day, and it just like it makes me cry because it's just like just something about like the nostalgia that song captures is just so incredible. But those were the first two albums where I like bought them, listened to them, and I was just like, yeah, this is. I used to just put those on, and I had an acoustic guitar that like a friend had given me that like was had like busted old strings on it, wasn't in tune. I didn't even know how to play yet, but I would just like put it on and just pretend I was playing along to those songs. And that was my first real like moment with music that I was like, yeah, I connect with this. Like this is mine.
And those moments are like so amazing when it
Hmm.
comes down to it, like when you find something that you just connects with you, and you take ownership of it. That's the best thing about music too. And it's also like this crazy thing that sometimes I have to tell artists, like, don't be selfish about holding songs back. You got to put them out there, because once you do, they don't belong to you anymore, and it
Hmm.
means so much more to someone else. A lot of times it means more to them than it ever will to you.
Yeah.
And like having that moment's great. Okay, so you're sitting there with this guitar that you don't know how to play. So when was the step to wanting to learn to play music?
I always wanted I always wanted to learn like as soon as I got that guitar because I remember my friends and I would sit in his room and like listen to Kiss and watch live Kiss concerts, and we would stand in the positions of the members of that band and would just pretend to play like air instruments. So like that was like the real moment where I was like, yeah, I want to learn. And then I had somehow gotten my hands on this acoustic guitar, and I was like, yeah, I want to learn. And like I never knew the steps to take um, until I just like came home. I played hockey growing up, and that was like my first, like obsessive hobby that I had, and that was like a fall, winter, and spring sport. So that took up a lot of my time. And for the summer, I would usually just relax. But then there was just one summer where I just wasn't really doing anything. And my mom was just like, "Well, I was looking into it, and there's this like guitar camp. It's like a week long. It's like a learn to play thing. You just go, and they just teach you how to play. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?" And I was just like, yeah. And so she signed me up. I went. This was like 2011. 2008, I believe. So I had started like listening to these things in 2004, 2005, and I don't know why it took me so long, but yeah, it took me about 3 years, but I finally got into it, and then it was just I just dove down a giant black hole from there.
Now, when you start to learn to play the instrument a little bit, yeah, I mean, the for most kids, like the next thing to do is to find other like-minded people like you that have an instrument, not
Mhm.
necessarily even know how to play it, but have an instrument and try to form this pivotal first band
Yeah.
of your life that you spend more time creating the name and the logo than you do actually playing music. What was that like for you? And do you kind of remember who those people were and what the name of that very first band you came up with was?
Oh man, yeah. Our name was If All Else Fails, and our logo was If All Else Fails in white with a red F, and yeah, I didn't play the instruments. I just sang because I'd been in choir my whole life. So I remember this kid Pete that I would play Xbox Live with every day. Just said he was looking to start a band, and just asked if I'd be interested in joining as a singer. I said sure. I was so bad, because we were like, I mean, every high school band is, but like we were like a metal band. We were playing like, I don't know, alternative metal sort of we are trying to do, and I was just singing like choir style over it, and it was so bad, but I don't know, it was important. I think it taught me a lot about being in a band, and it taught me a lot about actually how to play guitar because he was actually incredible. But yeah, that was like our first band that we were in. It's it's an interesting part of the story, but it's a necessary one, I guess.
Do you remember, like, did you guys perform? Did you have a like battle of the bands? Like,
Oh yeah.
do
Yeah,
you remember your
we did like a
first
lot of like the
performance?
battle of the bands. We had ones for like our high school. We the pay to plays that would always come through, like the touring ones that would come through and like go to like the Trocadero in Philadelphia, and you had to sell 100 tickets to even be able to play. And so we did a lot of those battle of the bands. We did um a couple like school events. I was really cool with a lot of the teachers, and like we had a lot of cool teachers who were actually in real bands. So they were always supportive and like trying to help us get opportunities. So, as far as shows you were playing in high school, they were actually pretty cool. So I mean, it could have been worse for your first band, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, sounds good to have. I mean, one of the biggest things is having that support and to have teachers. I mean, when I grew up, all the fucking teachers were all 80 years old and, didn't, if you had a Walkman, they'd fucking take it away from you. Like, yeah,
It's crazy how much this like the culture of like who are teachers and how school is has just completely changed. Even from, I mean, when I was in school, it's insane. I mean, it's a good thing, I guess, because like there's just so much more self expression from like these younger students. But it is wild to think about, honestly.
now from doing that and like wanting to, like, apparently you got the bug, right, to
Yeah.
continue to to want to play music. So what was like the next initial step after, that high school band may have dissolved and you wanted to do other things? What was that next step in your life musically?
It it was honest. A lot of it was born out of just being like a singer, and people in that band sort of had some doubts of you know just me as a musician or just being in a band. So a lot of it was born at that time out of like a weird like wanting to prove people wrong. Um, and there was just a lot of, I don't know, going off to college and just discovering different types of music and different, being in different groups and meeting different people that I just kind of wanted to take more control over just the direction that I wanted to go in musically. And that involved, I mean, just a lot of having to learn and, fall on my face a lot and get back up. Um, but it was just something that I just needed to do, and I'm glad I did it for sure. But it was yeah.
I'm glad you did it too. I mean, I think one of the biggest things now is like people don't fail as much, right? And don't fall on their face. Like I deal with it on a daily basis, having a music venue. Like
Mhm.
people, kids coming in and people coming in, and not even kids, people in their 20s and early 30s, and they're like, "Hey, man, I'd love to play here." I'm like, "Sorry, that's not how this works." Like, and they're like, "Oh," and like they get like really like defensive and upset. I'm like, "No, like." Listen, that's not how you just don't walk in here, tell me you're in a band and like want to book a date. That's
Mhm.
not how this business works.
No.
I'm like, I control, I tell you, and if your music sucks, I'm gonna tell you your music is bad and you can't play here. And that's just like the nature. That's how it works, man. If no one tells you you're bad, you're never gonna want to get better.
Oh
So
yeah.
like, I'm just like, I deal with it a lot. I'm like, listen, it's not for us. And then when they want, and that's me being nice. And then when they continue to push, like, well, we think we could, I'm like, listen, I didn't want to do this. You just made me do this. You guys are terrible. There's no redeeming factor to your music. Keep working. Like,
Yeah.
and that's it. And then it's like, then I block the email or block their numbers. Like, I'm just like, forget
I
this.
I genuinely would rather hear that because it's it's I don't know. I think learning how to handle rejection, especially if you want to do something like be in any sort of entertainment medium, is it's an essential skill to learn. So you're fighting the good fight out there.
I try, but I deal with it too with this podcast, doing it for over 5 years now, and people like reach out, want to be on. I'm like, that's not how this works. I
Right.
reach out to you because I think you're good enough, and I
Yeah.
want to help promote you. You
Yeah.
don't reach out to me. Like I don't have time for this. Like,
Right.
but it's just trying to get people to deal with rejection and like want to be better from it is like. I mean, there's so many people that got the door shut in their face, and then all of a sudden their big break comes, but it's because they worked fucking for 10 years to get better at what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
and that's the best part about it. I mean, if you had that opportunity to fall on your face, and like the shit that you're putting out now is like that goes to show, like for me as a listener, like fuck, when I can listen to your stuff and go, this is fucking great. I know there was some shit behind it that had to
Hmm.
get you to this point. It's the stuff that I listen to where I'm like, yeah, no, this is their first recording and they think they're good, but they're not.
Yeah.
You
Happens to everybody.
Now, for you, and like you go to college, you find all these different types of and styles and music and everything. Was there like this one type of, I'd say, I hate to use the word genre, but like, or a band or something along the lines that made you go down a rabbit hole of some sort of style of music that you just felt like was different and you'd never heard something like that before, and you kind of wanted to find out everything about it and then start sharing it with people?
Yeah, I went to this local show down in Hamilton, New Jersey, and it was this band called Me Versus I. They're like this like post-hardcore band. They lean more on the like the ambient side of it, and it was just at that time. It was just like a mix of sounds I had just never heard before, and there were a lot of things like about that specific show and that with that band that I think I was just like searching a little bit for trying to find a place to fit in and like I don't know, just people to talk music with and just like share experiences with that felt so passionate about the same things that I did, which was music. um and to see this band, like it was unfortunately their farewell show, but there were just like so many sounds that I had just never heard before, and just how many people were so like passionate about it. Just like to be in the packed VFW. That was like my first real like local show that wasn't a pay to play. Um, it just I don't know. It just struck all the right chords, and it made me dive down this little like rabbit hole of just the the alternative scene in Jersey and Philly, and it's kind of put me where I'm at, and I can pinpoint it all back to that moment, just like how I felt being there and just listening to that band.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like watching. I think I mean I know COVID had a lot to do with it, but I mean even prior to, I want to say like, I want to say 2017ish, I started to see like a lot of like the VFW and a lot of DIY venues and a lot of places were kind of like no longer existing. Like,
Yeah.
and then once COVID hit, I mean, that just all went away. And I think we're kind of having this awesome little resurgence. I'm proud to like be a part of it too, like having a smaller space for bands to play and just be able to be with other people that are all there for the same reason. Instead of going to like larger shows and like even larger shows, I say like 1,000 cap room, like you're going to larger shows that someone's bringing someone and they're talking the whole time. Like you can tell when people are there for the same thing. Everyone's just fucking staring at the stage and watching what's going on. Like when you guys were playing, I don't think anybody was talking. Like everybody was watching what you guys were doing. And like, that's like, I'm so glad that it's coming back. I see it in other places too. Like, I mean, even things now like breweries, smaller breweries having, hardcore shows and like punk shows and like everyone there being for the same reason. And I'm so happy that is coming back, because it was kind of a little devastating to watch it go away. Cause I still, in my older years, I still enjoy like, oh, there's a VFW, there's a show at the Elks Lodge. I want to go check that out. Like, yeah. And that's a really cool thing that it's coming back, because it did go away for a while.
It definitely did. It definitely did for sure. And it was like one of the things where I couldn't tell if it was just like, is it just going away for me or is it going away for everybody? And the more I talked to people, the more it did feel like it was going away for everybody. But, it feels like for whatever reason, it definitely does feel like it's making a comeback, which I agree is just awesome.
Yeah, I think people are getting tired of just like finding music in an algorithm. I think people are kind of getting back to that. I miss the connection that I have when I'm at a show. I miss the connection of meeting someone new that I know has similar tastes as I do, because they're at the same place I am. So
exactly,
the conversation's easier to start. That's why, my line always is, when you go to a concert, no one there's a stranger. They're just friends you haven't met yet. And,
I like that.
That's, I can talk to anyone at any show because we're all there for the same fucking thing. And that's what's great.
Hell yeah.
Now for you as modern culture, this is probably my favorite question to ask on the show. If you meet a complete stranger, they've never heard your music before, you have an opportunity, they go, I got 3.5 minutes. Play me one of your songs. What song would you play of yours that's currently released out into the world?
One song. I'd probably go with Spin. I'd have to go with Spin for sure.
On my mind for 7 days.
Nice. Now, would you say that's your favorite song you've ever released?
No, my favorite song ever for sure is definitely Separation. It's just such a, I don't know, it was such a cathartic song for me. But, you know, I recognize the difference between a favorite song and, like, you know, what song would probably best, best represent.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, Separation is just like, I went through such a long writer's block, and then it was just, I was writing an EP about, you know, losing a loved one that was close to you. And that just felt like like the first song where it's just like, oh, I'm putting all of these like really intense and difficult to process emotions into words and into like a song. And so it's just always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, and I think it's like I have all my notes here though, of what I do when I'm interviewing someone, and like I have my star for the hot track is Spin, but that's not necessarily what I would play for people.
Okay.
That would best describe as a whole of what the band is and what you currently have out in the universe. Like I personally, and I have for other people, especially before you guys were playing, and I just played Motives. Like I was like, I think this encompasses where they began, where they're going, and like what it is fully as a band. So
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, and I'm an asshole because I'm, you know, I'm opinionated and I have what I like, but
Yeah.
that's why I like to share it with people too. It's like, hey, check this out. But Spin is definitely like that's the fire track that you're going to show someone because it fucking bangs from as soon as it starts.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's just like there's just a lot of things in that, you know, like just writing it where we were just kind of firing on all cylinders with it. Like the riff we came up with in like, you know, a minute, and it was just we were just sound checking tones, and I played that, and then it just carried through, and we got to that middle, you know, soft bridge, and uh, a drummer and I are just big Incubus fans, and we were like, what if we kind of did something like this track Megalomaniac where they have like a bridge like that, and we're like, what if we
Yeah.
just did that, and it just worked, and like, so it's just one of those things where it just has all of the elements. It's so that's interesting though that Motives would be the one for you.
Yeah, I think just because the way I usually like figure out what song I'm going to play for people is the one that I constantly go back to, right? It's the one that I want to keep listening to and go back to. And like, oh man, like if I'm going to have a playlist, I'm putting that on there. And that's why I usually show it to people.
Hell yeah.
Now, for you, I mean, we talked about like you seeing like your first VFW show. Do you remember your very first concert you ever saw?
Yeah, it was In Sync at Veterans Stadium in 2000. It was my first concert.
Nice. And how about, so did you get to pick to go to that, or was that like a surprise from mom?
That was a surprise from mom. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how about the first one you got to pick to go to?
First one I got to pick to go to was Honda Civic Tour 2011. It was Matt and Kim, uh, My Chemical Romance, and Blink 182.
Well, that's a banger to.
Yeah, it was a killer show.
Nice. Do you have a show in your life that, you know, stands out to you, like your favorite concert you've gone to date? And listen, I know it's going to be hard to probably dial it into one, but like one or two, like that you just know you'll never forget because it was so great.
Oh man. Um, does it have to be? Because like I've been to a lot of festivals, and I feel like it would be a cop out to choose the festival. Um, trying to think like.
All right, your favorite festival you've ever gone to?
I mean, the favorite festival I've gone to was Bamboozle in 2012. I was still in high school, and I don't. My mom was cool enough to let me uh, go. We stayed in my aunt's apartment building. There was like a vacated room there, so we just like set up sleeping bags on the floor and would wake up every day and go. And I don't know, to be 17 and just be on the beach and listen to like Incubus. I mean, even Foo Fighters. I'm not sure if you're a Foo Fighters guy or not. Uh,
I
it
am.
was
I listen. I've had the conversation of like the greatest American rock band of the past like 50 years, and it always comes down to either Foo Fighters or Metallica, and like so. If that tells you anything about what I like, I'm like,
that's okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, 'cause I know a lot of people that like hate the Foo Fighters. I'm like, I get it, like whatever. They're whatever. But I like the Foo Fighters. They thought it was a sick show. Like Foo Fighters on the beach, Incubus into Foo Fighters on the beach has got to be top two for me. Like just because it was just such an insane night. That I just still think about to this day. Yeah, I remember. I would say that, and then like if I had to just choose a show that I was we won pit tickets for Linkin Park in 2013 or 2012. I'm sorry. So we were first row for Linkin Park, and they're a band that I've grown out of. For the most part, I'll still go back and listen to them for a nostalgic kick every once in a while. But when I was in high school, like that was just a band I had grown up with. So to like see them front row playing, like literally every greatest hit from their discography was just I'll never forget it.
yeah,
There's been a ton of other concerts that have been incredible, but just those two just stand out to me.
nice. Now, personally, as a performer,
Hmm.
okay, I want one good and one bad, but a live performance of yours in your lifetime, one that you'll never forget because it was so bad. And every time you have a show that you think is bad, you go, at least it wasn't that. And then after that, a show that stands out to you that's your favorite so far. So
Yeah.
let's start with the bad and end with the good.
Oh man, bad. I, the, I mean, luckily it was so long ago, but in high school we played our Battle of the Bands. We played our first year as a sophomore, like we were sophomores, and we won. So our egos were real high going into our junior year, and man, we just sucked. Everybody messed up. Amps died on us. The entire power went out like twice during our performance. It was just awful. Like people like just like left because we were the last band to go on, and like the power went out twice. They're just like, well, I'm not hanging around. There are just so many mistakes,
I'm
so many
not waiting
technical.
for more of this as the power comes on.
Exactly. So there are just so many issues, like told so many jokes that did not land at all. Like it just every box you could check for like a bomb performance, we did. And yeah, so that would have to be the worst. And luckily it was a long time ago and no one remembers it except for me.
All right.
Yeah. But
Now, how about your favorite to date?
oh, favorite to date. Um is can I give a tie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had two. We had one last year at this place called Silk City in Philly with Dead Wrong Sleep Cycles and Floorbird, and the place was just packed. The vibes were just super high the whole night.
All
I
good
had
bands too. So
Yeah, really killer bands, and I had I had moved to Philly in 2022, and this was 2024 at this point that the show happened, and a lot of that was spent like writing a Separation EP, getting the band together, playing shows, and going from like playing shows to 4 people to playing, you know, an almost sold out Silk City was just like it was just an emotional night, and everybody was just incredibly attentive, and the vibes were just super high. And then the other one would be we played the Fire, the weekender that we had. We closed out at the Fire in Philly, and just the crowd was just electric. The crowd was incredible. I've never played to a crowd like that, so I'd have to put that up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, when you look back at something like that, like, can you ever pinpoint like maybe a reason why the crowd was so great that night, or like, do you think maybe there's something in the water, or like the other bands? Like, usually, like when you look back on something that was so great, a lot of times it's a mystery, but
hmm
sometimes you can pinpoint of why it was so great.
Yeah, I try not to think into it too much because I don't want to ever go out and try to recreate it
Yeah.
because then it just feels weird. Um, but I do think just like a mixture of the bands that night. A lot of friends were there, a lot of just music fans were there, and um, I think for me personally, I think the reason the crowd felt so so much more amped up was honestly just due to the fact that up until that point we're usually playing first or second,
Okay.
and on this night we were playing third, so there might have been a couple more drinks consumed than normally would have been before a set. So I think it just I think everything just worked out,
Yeah, I get it. All right. In your life, do you have a band that never lets you down, like the band or artist that you find yourself constantly listening to when you don't know what you want to listen to? Like, some people usually ask you your favorite band. I ask you the band that never lets you down. So like something you're always going to find yourself listening to.
Honestly, I could probably go with Deftones. Because there's so many other bands that like I could listen to. But there's always just a little something missing. Deftones just kind of checks every box for me. It's a band that I've listened to. I mean, since I don't know, I was in middle school, and they've just I don't know, they just cover so many different emotions and feelings and vibes so well that I feel like if I were to just look at their discography, I could probably pick a song to listen to sort of match how I'm feeling at almost any given moment. So it would have to be Deftones for me.
Nice. What do you think? Did you love Private Music?
I did. I did.
So me too. It
Yeah.
took so it was one of those things where, well, we were lucky enough we got selected to host their listening party the day
Right.
it came out, and when it came out, like, it was cool. Like, they sent me the CD like a couple days before, but I didn't want to listen to it because I wanted to listen to the album for the first time with just people that were going to be listening to it for the first time as well, and maybe
hmm
have a different moment. And the first time it played, like, I was kind of skeptical because I know they're having a moment, right?
Yes.
And they're having this moment, which is fucking great. I love that they are having this moment, and like, I think a little bit, to me, it's come a little late,
Yeah.
because they've been great for so long. But
hmm
I was like, it's probably just going to be another Deftones record. Like, I'm just going to get drop D fucking tones,
hmm
and like, here we go. I'm going to get some Chino fucking screams at times. And the first play through, like, I was just like, I stopped for a minute. I was like, huh. I was like, I think I really like this. And then the second time we played it for everyone, I was like, God damn, I love this. Like, and I was so happy because it was like everything was different to me. Like, I think they just took all these things that they normally wouldn't do, but they knew they were having a moment, so it didn't matter what they did.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best thing for the record. Like, when trying to explain it to people, I'm like, listen, one of the songs sounds like a My Bloody Valentine song.
hmm
Then another song sounds like a Nine Inch Nails song. I'm like, they did all this stuff and it worked. I'm like, and I couldn't have been happier.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt the same way because I've talked to a lot of people who have, I mean, loved it or have hated it. so I always tread lightly. But I loved it. I felt the same way. It was just like, I think, I don't know. It was just it was familiar. It's like it was definitely a Deftones record. Um, but it had enough stuff on there for me to be a little bit excited about it. So I loved it.
Nice. All right, now the fun part.
Mm.
What do you listen to quite often that you get tons of enjoyment out of that people would be really surprised to hear you love to listen to?
Oh man, I don't know because I genuinely um I genuinely love most genres of music. So it'd be tough to try to would surprise people. Maybe uh Dave Matthews Band scratches a weird itch for me.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah,
It's like that guilty pleasure. I never would have pinpointed that on you.
yeah, that would be one. I don't love Dave Matthews Band. I'm not a defender, and when people hate on Dave Matthews, I'm not. I get it for sure,
But you
but
also get why people love them.
fuck, Ants Marching is a killer song.
I think that was like in high school. It might have been my answering machine song I had playing in the background. I don't know.
That's
It was a brief moment. Okay, this is back in the '90s when it
okay.
first came out, and it was different. I also was lucky enough that my sister at the time, bless her heart, she was going to the University of South Carolina,
Mhm.
and I had gone down to visit her, and she brought me to a bar, snuck me into a bar. I was 16 at the time, and there were two bands playing, and they hadn't become famous yet. One of them was Dave Matthews Band, and the other one was Hootie and the Blowfish.
That's crazy. Also, the most just like I don't know, just the most South Carolina story I can imagine though.
Yeah, I went down there because it was nice too. My aunt and uncle lived right outside of Columbia where she was going to school, so
Yeah,
she had familiarity. And then I went down to stay with my aunt and uncle and hang out with my sister. And then she took me out to this bar, snuck me in, and I saw these two bands. I was like, wow, these are great. And then like 6 months later, they're both fucking. You can't get away from Hootie or Dave Matthews.
that's absolutely insane, and also just such a weird. Dave Matthews Band and like Hootie and the Blowfish and like those bands are just like I have like a yearning to understand the context of why they were so like massively popular in the '90s. Like it just blows my mind like why that movement happened.
So when they came out, I can tell you why.
Oh, perfect.
So when they hit at a moment where like there was this overabundance of grunge slash alternative,
Okay.
where there was on the top 10 on MTV, fucking nine of the top 10 were grunge alternative, and then like Madonna or Mariah Carey was thrown in there in the top 10 videos. So it was always like it was already at the time like grunge really had this like short lived time frame.
Right.
But it was this overindulgence. It was completely everywhere. And I think they were just at this moment, like it was, I remember specifically like Hootie, Dave Matthews, Counting Crows, like it was on the outskirts of it, and it was good music, and it was something different. And I think people were looking for something different at that moment because they were just tired of hearing the same old, as I say, anybody can be a grunge singer. Just take your tongue, stick it to the roof of your mouth, and start singing. And you can create a grunge vocals. And I think people were tired of it.
Huh. See, there we go. That's interesting. I never thought that makes so much sense though. That checks out.
Yeah, they were the bands that hit at the right moment. And again, I would go to those three. It's like Counting Crows, Hootie, and Dave Matthews just like came in at the perfect time when people wanted something a little different.
Interesting.
All right, we got rid of your Dave Matthews guilty pleasure. So,
Yeah.
Do you remember the song or the band you were listening to the day you got your freedom, and that's the day you get your driver's license and go drive around and pick up some friends?
Man, I, it's it's actually crazy because it's not even a good one. Um, I for some reason it was because it was really like right before streaming services were like a massive like thing and were like easily accessible. So I was listening to like a lot of like SoundCloud at the time, and I was obsessed with this weird remix of Straight Outta Compton by NWA. Uh, but they sampled Taper Jean Girl by Kings of Leon over it.
Okay.
And so I was just like hooked on showing that to people at the time because it was just so funny to me. So like that's the one song I specifically remember playing in my car. It's an unfortunately terrible one to have, but that's just the honest truth.
Listen, that's what we look for here, the truth, because we all have the moments of like, man, yeah, that's what I was listening to.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But I mean, at that time though, it was what 2013. I was on. I was that was when I was first really getting into to Incubus. I was on a big Incubus kick, so I'm sure that there was a a lot of that on rotation, other than the NWA Kings of Leon mix.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. And I like a lot of these questions that I ask is because I remember these specific things that I had. Like for me, I got my license. I was listening to Screeching Weasels cover of I Can See Clearly.
Nice,
Yeah, like, and it's just those moments where I'm like, man, why was I doing that?
right?
But
Uh, to be young again, you know?
yeah, but I love hearing everyone else's, oh man, why was I doing that?
Yeah, right.
All right. World's going to end in 5 minutes. Meteors crashing into the earth. There's nothing we can do about it. And you have to listen to one song and one song only to go out to. What are you listening to?
Does the meteor wait until the song's over?
Nope. Nope.
Okay, 'cause
Yeah.
I'll
So
pick
like,
a really long song.
yeah, you can't like throw on Stairway to Heaven or Anagata Devita or something.
The Great Gates of Kiev.
Yeah.
Um, these 5 minutes. Oh man, shit, 5 minutes. Let me think here. Sorry, you're gonna have to give me a second. I'm just trying to think of one song that has just like carried me, like that has just
Yeah.
stayed with me. Um, I'll circle back. I'll go. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'll go. El Mañana by Gorillaz.
All
Yeah,
right.
just I don't know, just like a hauntingly beautiful song that I just love.
Nice. All right. Good answer. Didn't
Yeah,
take you that long. So that's
no,
good.
yeah.
So it was there. All right, next morbid question. Unfortunately, there's another disaster happening.
Okay.
Your home is burning down, and every living thing, creature, person, goldfish, everything's out safe and sound. But you have a minute to run back in and grab one musical thing that means the most to you. What's that one thing you're rushing back in for to grab?
Um, Probably my Martin, my acoustic. It was a gift from my mom for Christmas one year. I would have to grab that one. It would be that over everything else. As tough as it would be to choose, but it's just that one's just so special to me.
Good answer. Mom would love to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, do you have like I guess maybe music memorabilia or album or posters or something that means a lot to you musically that like, all right, if you got to grab one other thing, but it's like a piece of music memorabilia or an album or record or something. Is there something else you would grab?
Yeah, I have an original pressing of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I'd probably grab that
So
if I had to, yeah, I have a very like small sort of like memorabilia collection or anything like special like that. I have a lot of albums, but I like to be honest, they're all just like, recent pressings that I could replace. But that, I don't know, that's a cool one to me. It's also like it's just like a special one to me, so I would go with that.
now, other than like the Beatles, okay, I'm gonna pull that off the stage because everyone would say that. But
Yeah.
is there like an artist or a band that you just wish you could see, or maybe there's even a band that's still around that's performing that you'd love to see, but an artist or a band that like you just like that would be the moment, like, all right, I got to see that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely I wouldn't have said the Beatles, so
Okay.
Um, oh man, one artist. Jeez, oh, man, one artist. I've been lucky to see a lot of the artists that I've wanted to see. Um, I do regret I'll go I do regret that I didn't get to see Motorhead. I had the opportunity to and I passed it up, and I think that would have just been a cool one to see. I'm not a huge Motorhead fan, but like I said, I've been lucky enough to sort of like my mom always instilled in me to like if I want to see something, just go do it,
Yeah.
like no matter what. So I have seen most of the artists. So it's like either I would say Motorhead like would have been just a cool one to see, or I mean I'll probably see them. I'm sure they'll be on tour, but Radiohead would be a good one.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be back on tour. That's the word on the street that they're working at putting a tour together.
Right. So I don't.
After they saw what happened with Oasis and all the fucking crazy money they pulled in there.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't want to say them because it's like the chances are I probably will see them. Um, I would say honestly, I'll go with my final answer. Um, I'll say Title Fight. I really wish I would have been able to see them back in the day. And I didn't get a chance to. So I would say Title Fight.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to be able to see them, and that was awesome.
Oh man.
Like you had your Motorhead experience. I had like mine was Temple of the Dog. My friend's like, "Hey, you want to go see Temple of the Dog?" I'm like, what am I gonna do? They got fucking 10 songs. I'm like,
Right.
and Eddie's not gonna be there to sing Hunger Strike. So like, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, they're probably gonna do it again at some point when they need money.
Mm-hmm.
And I said no, and now I can never see him. So yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
it's the worst feeling.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's why like same as you. Like I go see everything I can, and now it's gotten a little harder because we have our own venue. But I still, when I have the opportunity, I just don't. I just go. I don't miss it.
Yeah, respect.
Well, we're going to be coming into our final segment of the show, which is our weekly threes, which will be 3 things you're listening to and 3 things I'm listening to. But before we do that, I'd love to give you the opportunity right now to tell everyone out here in the world listening how it is that they can find everything that you guys are doing, how to keep up with everything Modern Culture is doing, basically all your handles, so people can keep track of what you're doing and how they can support the band.
Yeah, we're we're always playing out. Obviously, the best way to support, or my preferred way, is to just come to a show, hang out, meet us. It's just I don't know, in the world of social media, just to actually meet people and face to face is the best. But obviously Instagram, Modern Culture, PHL, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, all the normal stuff. Yeah, those are the places to find us. We're always posting on Instagram, always posting on TikTok. Those are the 2 places really where if you're trying to keep up with what we're doing, those would be the places.
Yeah, and everybody out there, if you haven't had the opportunity to see them, I can honestly put my stamp of approval, whether it matters or not to you, but they fucking bring the house down, and if they're playing anywhere in my backyard, I will 100% be there. So
thank you.
Well, we are into our final segment, which is our weekly threes. As I said, it's 3 things you're listening to that you would like people to check out. You're going to give 3, then I give my 3 for them.
Okay. Oh, 3 things I've been listening to. All right. I've been spinning Military Gun's new record, like almost nonstop. I believe it's called God Save the Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Been spinning that a ton. Been doing Speaker Box, The Love Below by Outkast. That has been on repeat in honor of them finally getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And just because it's the season, I've been spinning Forever Forever Ago by Bon Iver. Those are my 3.
Oh, Bon Iver.
Yeah, another all-time artist that I somehow haven't brought up throughout this whole thing. He's in my top 5 for sure.
Justin deserves to be in a lot of top lists.
He for sure does. Yeah.
Nice. All right, good 3. My 3 for this week. My first one is a band called Badvril. It's BAD, V as in Victor, RIL. The name of the album is In Heaven. They're kind of a grungy, shoegazy band from San Francisco. Definitely check them out. It's a really cool vibe. Number 2 is a band called Nerdlinger. The name of the album is Smashing Kebabs. They're Australian pop punk band. And number 3 is an artist, goes by the name of Roseville, Roseville. Name of the album is Deadfall. Kind of, we're just going to throw out shitty genre labels here, but indie rock from Colorado.
Hell yeah. I'll have to check them out.
But Kevin, thank you so much, first off, for being here today and spending some time with us and getting to know you on a more personal level, and opening up and giving, hopefully, our fans and your new fans to come just a little insight into who you are, what you're about, and what the band's about. And huge thank you constantly. I throw this out there for every artist that's here, but thank you, honestly, for creating the music that brought us together. That to me is the most important part, and I can't thank you enough for creating music that I enjoy and I love and I like to share with people. And so, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you.
But you know what time it is now, everybody? It's time to go out, listen to modern culture, and have a great fucking time.
So
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.